Alrighty, folks, I want to celebrate a new millionaire on our channel coming back monthly, and that is RoBuilt. And first off, let me apologize. I apparently said his name wrong 3 or 4 times. Not my intention. It is RoBuilt, not RoBuilt. RoBuilt. And I really want to highlight yesterday's video because I learned a lot, right? There's a lot of stress in the Airbnb market, but RoBuilt and Rob talked about the things he's doing to be an elite. And that got me to thinking about Lumberjack and how he gave me the gift of step 2 of getting wealthy, and that is you got to become elite at something. So, Matt, I wanted to talk about RoBuilt, get your thoughts on him, and really talk about something you and I don't do a lot, which is short-term rentals. But there's clearly a way to dominate, and RoBuilt is doing that. What do you think of Rob?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, for me, the most fun part about this is being around elite people, right? Mm-hmm. Because when you have become elite at something in your life, it has taken you years of dedication, years of discipline, learning lessons, finding the wrong ways to do it, and then finding the right people to get around where you can maybe catch that, that lightning bolt where it's just like, I'm going to make this tweak. I'm going to make this tweak. I'm going to make this tweak. And so it's, people don't understand that success is accomplished through iterative design. And so what I love about, I don't think that there's anything wrong to be in real estate. I think what's wrong is that, and what's right is that everybody has gotten rich doing every strategy.
Correct.
There are people that have gotten rich doing every different type of strategy. Sometimes it's market timing. Sometimes it's, other extenuating circumstances, but everybody's gotten rich at doing something, that they've become a lead at in real estate. Mm-hmm. So what I love about his journey is that he's in a place now where that market's completely blowing up, and he's still doing it. He's still doing it. Still. And
I would argue he's crushing it even more now because the herd is, falling off the cliff, and he's a shining beacon.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, that's what ends up happening, right? Is that the masses come, but because they don't become elite, because they generally are lazy and they're just copycatting.
Yeah.
Guess what happens when the trouble hits? You're just like, who am I copying next? I don't know what I'm gonna. And that's why I love your students, my students, our students we have collectively. Mm-hmm. It's because they recognize that we've had to tweak business. We've had to tweak the way that we do things. So I have the utmost respect for a guy who's literally now he's going to be one of the 20% left behind.
Yep.
That's still in business, that's still thriving, that's still making tons of money. He's going to be one of those guys that's still around because the others were just copycats. They were imitations, cheap imitations.
Yeah. Again, having been in the real estate market for almost 30 years now, I've seen lots of things come and go. And what I tell people now is, like you said, you can make lots of people make lots of money in lots of different ways in real estate. And some seasons are better than others. And it's funny when a season enters the springtime, all the copycats come out. And I would argue, again, I don't know the exact dates, but 2020, 21, 22 were the season for Airbnb, right? Nobody wanted to go to a hotel. Travel was very domestic versus international. And you just had a lot of quick money pretenders slapping, paint on something and getting some IKEA furniture and calling it a STR. Mm-hmm. And it worked. It did work.
Yep.
Until the season was over.
Yep.
And when the season is over, there's a lot of pain. There's a lot of losses. I mean, frankly, if you look at some markets like Palm Springs, there are people being foreclosed on because they bought a short-term rental at $750 that last sold at $300 or whatever, right? It's like you just overpaid, right? When Palm Springs changed the game, you're effed. Mm-hmm. And, that stuff happens. But what I like about my conversations with Rob is he's constantly pivoting and learning, to your point, and improving. And as we discussed yesterday, investing in his assets, right? Mm-hmm. He talked about yesterday something that I thought was so important and so insightful, and that was too many short-term rental investors, and I would argue long-term investors, look to get their second or third too soon.
Yes.
And I'm like, that's freaking genius, right? Go figure out number one so you don't build on a shaky foundation. I thought that was such an insightful thing and true of most investors. You go too fast for scale. What do you think?
No, I think that's exactly right. One of the things that we teach a lot in our course is constant evaluation, right?
Mhm.
People look at it and they say, all right, well, I'm like 70% done my first one. Well, let's go get a second one. Whoa, 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 whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa,
Yeah.
whoa, whoa.
Slow down, buddy.
Anybody that's replicated any business has built it right first, worked out the kinks and worked out the major kinks, and then moved it past that to then multiply. So I think that that's often that's the biggest mistake. In fact, one of the things that we do in our courses, we talk all the time about when you're searching for return on your money, when you're searching for cash on cash, return on your capital, evaluate the assets that you already have and see what investment can potentially be made to get you greater return. And if you don't see greater return in the assets that you already have, then you look for the next deal. The next deal's hard. The next deal's hard. Doing another deal is hard. I'd rather have the ones that we have making as much money as they possibly can, because it does three things. First thing that it does is it gets you off on the right path because it makes sure that what you're doing is right. Second thing is it actually proves to the bank that you are a good investor, because look at the returns that you're actually getting on your assets. And then thirdly, most importantly, it gives you breathing room. It gives you the ability to breathe without a 9,000-pound gorilla in the room and a billion-pound elephant on your chest. We've all felt that as investors, like, holy crap, what if this goes wrong? I am sunk.
Yeah.
It gives you that space to breathe, because now the asset that you have has been maximized. You're getting the highest return that you possibly can on that asset. And lastly, like I said, that allows you to breathe, because now you're making decisions out of strength and excess, instead of out of shortness and a lack of supply.
Yeah. I really think about, again, having only been in the long-term space, it's the same thing. I've seen too many people rush to get the second or third one.
Yeah, sure.
And, you and I have said for years that the first 5 years suck. And when I
Yes.
put these two things together, you've really got to make that first one work.
Yeah.
Right. There's no more important deal than the first one.
Norris Drive, baby.
That's right. You got to focus. You got to dive in. You got to get it right. Because if you don't, and you like you get Norris Drive, and then you get this, and then you get that, you're distracted, and you're not learning, right? It's just so much riskier. And I think Rob was a genius in kind of saying that. And then the other thing that I loved about Rob's conversation yesterday is just that reinvestment. He's talked about adding pickleball courts, and he created a karaoke room at one of his places, and it's just like, it's short-term rentals. He didn't say this, these are my words, not his, but sometimes it probably feels like an arms race, right? Who's got the most, cool shit to do?
Yep.
And, I just think it was very honest of him to talk about, significant investments, 20 grand, 50 grand. I think he talked about pickleball courts. I don't know if it was 100. I mean, it's just like, you got to keep investing in your asset, because that's what continues bookings.
Absolutely. I think that, it's the Vegas model, right? Everything in Vegas that's new commands this massive, ridiculous premium, even though the service is definitely not better. It's usually not as good, because they're trying to figure it out. They're trying to figure out exactly how good that experience can be. So I'm going to completely call out MGM, because I am an MGM card carrier. I love MGM. I've spent decades going to their hotels, and I tried the first one once. I tried the new one once, and I was like, this is a pass. We're going to wait until they can kind of get it right. And so now I stay at Aria pretty often, and I'll do Bellagio every once in a while, but Aria is my favorite. Yeah, and it's because they are so dialed in, and their people are so dialed in, that I go there, and Ashley's like, why do we keep on going here? I was like, because my experience is guaranteed. Yeah. My experience is awesome, guaranteed. And I don't have the mental bandwidth to have what little time I take to vacation. I don't have the mental bandwidth for it to go badly. So his process is exactly right. You leverage the asset that you have, you invest in the asset that you have to get greater return, but he's playing the Vegas game. He's having to make sure that it's the coolest, it's the best, it's got the most amenities. It was really funny because real quick, I'm traveling again. My wife was saying, she's like, you've traveled more this year than you have in the past 3 years or 4 years combined. She goes, it's getting a little out of hand. And I was like, I've got lots of miles to use. It's going to get worse.
Yeah, that's right. It's going to get worse, honey.
But the thing is, in looking at, how we're traveling now and how easy it is to travel and how easy it is to select somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
I never used to look for super hosts. I look for super hosts all the time now because they are dialed in on my experience. They know exactly what a super host needs to give me. And that I love. I don't need to take a chance on a lesser person for an extra, for a couple $100 less. Not worth it.
Yeah. Yeah. I think all of that's good. And we're lucky at this channel. I asked RoBuilt Rob to come back. He's agreed to come back monthly.
That's awesome.
Folks, just so you know, I have asked him to speak at our Vegas event. He's currently working with his wife to see if she wants to come or he can come. It is on Valentine's Day weekend. So there's, some of that 14th and 15th. I'm hoping he's coming. I've already penciled him in on day 2. Because again, I want to be around elite people, kind of like what you said at the opening, Matt. And again, I'll be honest, I will probably never do short-term rentals, but I love being around other elite people because you never know what I can learn from them and put into practice in my business. Or I can learn something and then help somebody else later. Because again, we have very growing communities and some people want to do STRs and I can make a connection with Rob and I'm thirsty to be around elite people.
Yeah.
And I think he is the guy in the short-term space. So I've learned a lot already in 2 conversations. I can't wait to see where we go from here. Matt, your closing thoughts and where can people find you?
I think, so you look at the short-term business and what is it really? It's really about attraction. It's really about, getting your unit to be the one that's rented over all others. And it's also about quick turns.
Mm-hmm.
So even if you just adapt that to our long-term business, how do I get a quick turn? What are the amenities that people are really caring about on Airbnb that can make an amenity in my long-term rental far more sticky? These are all the things, right? So it's one thing that he is going for is experience and making it experiential for any of the people he's hosting. So that means that he's put that much care, time, effort, and energy into that for people, which is going to give you a return. So it's interesting because, I'm probably never going to do a short term again, ever. However, there's lessons to be learned from somebody that's elite at it because you can take some of those things and adapt them to your long-term business and do some amazing things. But those are my closing thoughts on that. But Lumberjack Landlord on Thursday nights, 9 p.m. Eastern time. I believe we're going to have a show tomorrow. I'm traveling again. I keep on traveling on Thursdays. But yeah, 9 p.m. Eastern time. And, we're going to be talking about just current transactions, kind of how things are going in the market, like what's going on. Cause there's a lot going on. There's a lot going on in the market. And I think it's
definitely changing right now for sure.
You have to be looking at how you're leveraging your asset. And if you have any flexibility on how that's deployed, because you can probably make a lot more money with utilizing your asset in a better fashion.
Amen. Wiser words have not been said. Matt, you're amazing. Thanks for being here.
Thanks, Mike.